It's our last video for the week of change a base formula. I really like this formula. It's super simple and it's super helpful. And we're going to see it. It helps us evaluate, like actually find values of logs whenever they're not straightforward, when they're rational answers. Meaning that, like earlier, whenever we had log base 5 of 25 equals 2, like our answer was 2 and it was a whole number. Or sometimes our answer is 1/2. But there's cases when our answers are not whole numbers. They're not fractions. They're decimals that don't repeat, right? And they never end. And so change of base helps us determine those answers. So if you have a log problem, log base b of a, you can change its base by doing log of a over log of b. Now, the formula I gave you already has 10 as the base. Because if you hit the log button on your calculator, unless you have a Casio, but if you're using the TIs in my classroom and you hit the log on your calculator, it's automatically going to do a base 10. That's the only base that these TIs can calculate, unless you have a TI 84 color edition. But if you have a Casio, you can also switch the base. But I haven't really ran into a time in a high school where you needed to change your base to anything else. But if you need to change your base to 2, or you need to change your base to e, you can, just instead of it saying log of a over log of b, it would say log of 2, log base 2 of a over log base 2 of b, and you can choose any base. But I like to always use 2. I don't see a reason, 10. I don't see a reason why you wouldn't use 10. So one way to help you remember this, well, first of all, this needs to go on a note card. One way to help you remember this is, see how A is like already on top of B here? Like it's already above B. So A is above B in the formula. So what you're taking the log of is already higher up. But it's just because of the way it's written, the base is written as a subscript. So it's written down at the bottom. I'm over here teaching y'all my hands and y'all can't even see my hands. I'm so crazy. Okay, but A is just written higher. So when you go to change a base, the number that's already written higher is going to be written higher in your change of base problem. So this formula is useful whenever in equations. It's useful to evaluate answers that have irrational answers. Like if we said log base 2 of 3. Is there any number that we can raise 2 to equal 3? No, but we could say log 3 over log 2, and in your calculator you would get an answer. So it just allows us to use our calculators. So an example, log base 3 of 16. What are we taking the log of? 16, right? So it's already written higher, it's already taller, it's already in a higher spot than 3, so it's going to be in a higher spot than 3 here. And then we're going to do log of 3 down here on the bottom. Now, if you're putting this in your calculator, okay, and if you don't have a TI like what we had in class where it did the fraction for you, you would do log of 16. Like if you just have a regular like TI 30XS2 that you had in middle school, those little gray ones, you would have to type it in like this. Okay, or you can type it in like this, log of 16 divided by log of 3. But you have to make sure that you close out this log right here, because if not, if you don't include that parenthesis, it's going to give you a totally crazy answer. So, but when you do it in your calculator, like I'm using my TI 84, which is super old, like it's over 10 years old. So I don't have the math function. So I'm just going to say this second way that I wrote it right here would be how I type it into my calculator. And so log base 16 divided by log base 3 equals this is everything I can see in my calculator, guys. Of course, you wouldn't write all of this because that would be crazy. So that's an irrational number. It can only show me 10 spots. So really, I would write 2.524. Go to the third spot, go to the 100th spot. But the point of the change of base formula is because this is an irrational answer. There would be no way for me to arrive at this answer on my own without this change of base formula. Okay, so it's very helpful. I don't know why that just flipped. I tilted too much. So, but it's very simple. So just make sure that you have it written on a note card and that you know how to apply it. Lastly, before you finish out for the week, make sure you complete the quizzes because that's your grade. All right. Yeah, and you can do multiple attempts. Like, don't just take it one time and make a 70 and be done with it. No, that's dumb. Take it at least twice, okay? Take it twice. If you take it a third time, that's fine, but just know I'll average. If you take it a third time, I will average your two highest attempts together. But if you only take it 2 times, then I'll just take what your highest attempt is, no matter what. Okay. Love y'all. Stay safe. I will have more for you to learn next week.